I'm pretty excited for this. So, as you can see, I only have about 10 characters in here. These are the characters, like, the pictures I could find for a good, like, around 10 of them, which it's not bad per se. I wanted to add more, but I couldn't find um, like, good pictures for every single character. So here's the 5 teams I have set up. The B Bros, which is Bendy and Boris, of course. The Collectors, which is Cuphead and Mugman. The Disney Brothers, Mickey and Oswald. The Dandies duo, which is Shelly and Dandy. And then the Forgotten ones, which are Dial and Bugs. So 10 people, and I don't know how many rounds we're going to do. All right. So I think it's time we start this. I'm very excited. So here we go. Proceed. All right, the bloodbath. So this is round one, guys. Round one of the Myth the Machine Hunger Games. All right. As a tribute stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Bendy snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Mickey runs away from the cornucopia. Boris runs away from the cornucopia. Dandy runs away from the cornucopia. Cuphead runs away from the cornucopia. Dial runs away. Mugman runs away. Shelly finds a backpack full of camping equipment. And then Bug shoots a poisonous blow dart into Oswald's neck, slowly killing him. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Oswald's already dead. So we're down to 9 already. Oh, and the feast. Cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tribute's families. Bugs decides not to go. Dial takes a staff leaning against the cornucopia. Um, Bendy stabs Dandy in the back with a trident. Oh my god. They're all out for vengeance. Bendy's out for vengeance, and so is Bugs. Mug and Cup decide to work together to get more supplies. That makes sense. Shelly decides not to go. Mickey bleeds out due to untreated injuries. And Boris decides not to go. Okay, so we've already lost. We've already lost 3 people. Boris poisons Shelly's drink, but mistakes it for his own and dies. Okay, that's just what? How do you mistake a poisonous drink for your own? Okay. Bendy stalks Bugs. Mugman makes a wooden spear. Cuphead steals from Dial while he isn't looking. Okay. So we already lost 4 people. We lost Oswald, Dandy, Mickey, and Boris. Okay. So 6 people left already. Not Mugs. Bugs poisons Dial's drink, and again mistakes it for his own and dies. Bendy tries to treat his infection. Cuphead thinks about home. Shelly attempts to start a fire, but is unsuccessful, and Mugman thinks about winning. Okay. Shelly stalks Dial. Mugman kills Bendy with his own weapon. Okay, so Bendy's gone now. Dang it. Cuphead tries to spearfish with a trident. Okay. Alright, we've lost another 2. So we've already lost 6 people, so there's 4 people left for round 1. Mugman screams for help. Dial severely injures Cuphead but puts him out of his misery. So there goes Cuphead. And Shelly is awoken by nightmares. Okay, so we already have 3 people left. Shelly thinks about home. Mugman camouflages himself in the bushes, and Dial tries to sleep through the entire day. Alright, so we only lost 1 person that time. So there's only 3 people left. 7 have been killed, 3 left. Dial questions his sanity, and Mugman destroys Shelly's supplies while she's asleep. Shelly and Mugman split up to search for resources, and Dial practices his archery. Mugman, didn't you just destroy Shelly's supplies? Why are you helping her out? Okay. We didn't lose anybody that time. Alright. Mugman cooks his food before putting his fire out, and Shelly and Dial sleep in shifts. Okay. Honestly, that makes sense. Shelly overhears Dial and Mugman talking in the distance. Okay, no cannon shots. Night 5. So we're already on night 5, and there's 3 people left. Dial bashes Shelly's head in with a mace. Oh my god! And Mugman sets up camp for the night. So there's only 2 people left, Dial and Mugman. Got my money on Mug. Dial falls into a pit and dies. So yep, the winner of round 1, Mugman. Mugman wins round 1. So let's see. So the only people that had kills were Bugs, Bendy, Dial, and Mugman. The other 6 didn't have kills, and Dial had the most kills out of everybody with 2 kills. All right, so Mugman is the winner of round 1 of the Myth the Machine Hunger Games. Okay, and then a little summary. All right, let's simulate this once again, boys. Let's simulate this once again, guys. I'm excited to continue this because it's actually pretty cool. All right, round 2. So Mugman won the first round. Who wins round 2? All right, the bloodbath. As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Shelly grabs a shovel. Bendy runs away. Bugs grabs a shovel. Dial runs away. Dandy clutches the first aid kit. Mugman runs away. Cuphead strangles Mickey with a rope. Okay, so Mickey's dead off the bat. And then Oswald breaks Boris's nose for a basket of bread. Jesus Christ. Okay. So Mickey's already gone. Alright, now the feast. The cornucopia is replenished with food, weapons, supplies, and memoirs. Oswald decides not to go. Dial, Boris, Shelley, and Bendy just team up to grab food, weapons, supplies, and memoirs. Bugs decides not to go. Dandy decides not to go. Mug decides not to go. And Cuphead stuffs a bundle of dry clothing into a backpack before sprinting away. Okay. So nobody dies during the feast. Alright. Dandy and Mugman hunt for other tributes. Bendy runs away from Shelly. Boris tries to sleep through the entire day. Bugs fishes. Cuphead stalks Oswald. And Dial receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Okay. So we've only lost Mickey so far. Mickey's not having a good time, man. Wow. Boris begs for Danny to kill him. He refuses, keeping Boris alive. Dial tries to treat his infection. Bugs attempts to start a fire, but is unsuccessful. Shelly thinks about winning. Oswald begs for Cuphead to kill him. He refuses, keeping Oswald alive. And Mugman and Bendy hold hands. Okay. Why do I feel like this would actually happen? Alright, here we go. Next day. Dial goes hunting. Dandy receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Bendy scares Oswald off. Mugman scares Bugs off. Shelly chases Boris. And Cuphead goes hunting. Okay. Alright. Arena events. Oh boy, so the remaining people alive begin to hallucinate. Cuphead drowns Oswald, who he thought was a shark trying to eat him. Oh my god. Okay. Oh shit. That's awful. Bugs survives. Bendy hugs a tracker jacker nest, believing it to be a pillow. Okay, so we lost Bendy as well. Shelly survives, Dial survives, Dandy survives, Boris survives, and Mugman survives. Okay, so we lost 2 people during the arena event. So we lost Oswald and Bendy. Alright, night 2. Dial receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Shelly screams for help. Okay. Mugman, Cuphead, and Danny get into a fight. Cuphead kills them both. You killed your brother, Cup! You killed your brother! Oh! And then Bugs begs for Boris to kill him. He refuses, keeping Bugs alive. Wow, okay. I was not expecting that. Alright, Shelly travels to higher ground. Cuphead discovers a cave. Kyle. No, no, not Kyle. Guile can't handle the circumstances and kills himself. And Bugs defeats Boris in a fight but spares his life. So we only have 4 people left. These 3 were killed. So let's move on to, I believe, night 3? Yes. Bugs thinks about winning, and Cuphead, Shelly, and Boris cheerfully sing songs together. Okay. Day 4. Bugs stabs Shelly while her back is turned. Ah. Cuphead is pricked by thorns while picking berries, and Boris tries to sleep through the entire day. Okay. So, only 3 people left now because Bugs killed Shelly. Yep, Shelly's dead. Right, 4. Boris, Cuphead, and Bugs sleep in shifts. Okay. Bugs tries to sleep through the entire day. Boris pushes Cuphead off a cliff during a knife fight. Okay, so now it's down to Boris and Bugs. Because Cuphead is now dead. And then Bugs falls into a pit and dies. So the winner of round 2 of the Myth the Machine Hunger Games goes to Boris. Boris wins round 2. So who had the let's see the results here, the placements. So only 3 people got kills during this. Being Cuphead, Bugs, and Boris. Everyone else didn't get any kills. Cuphead had 4 kills, and while Bugs and Boris only had 1. Of course, a summary. Alright. Alright, guys, it's time for round 3. So far, round 1 goes to Mugman, and round 2 goes to Boris. Who wins round 3? Who wins round 3? Let's go. The bloodbath. The horn sounds. Shelly stays for resources. Cuphead runs away. Dial runs away. Bendy runs away. Oswald runs away. Boris, Mugman, and Bugs work together to get as much supplies as possible. Dandy runs away, and Mickey gathers as much food as he can. Okay, so no one dies during the bloodbath. Okay, no one dies during the bloodbath. Day 1. Shelly, Boris, Bendy, Oswald, and Dandy hunt for their tributes. So the 5 of them, Jesus. Cuphead and Dial split up to search for resources. Bugs scares Mugman off, and Mickey makes a slingshot. Okay, so no one's died, surprisingly, yet for round 3. And it's nobody died during the bloodbath, which is actually pretty. Um, I was not expecting that. No one to die yet. No cannon shots because no one died. All right. Shelly attempts to start a fire but is unsuccessful. Bugs fends Mugman, Dandy, and Cuphead away from his fire. Okay. Bendy tends to Mickey's wounds. Boris, Oswald, and Dial sleep in shifts. Okay, so still no one's died, surprisingly. Alright. Day 2. Mickey searches for a water source. Oswald repeatedly stabs Cuphead to death with sighs. Okay, so we already got our first death. Cuphead. It only took up to day 2 for someone to actually finally die. Bug searches for firewood. Dial tries to spearfish with a trident. Dandy sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Bendy goes hunting. Boris stalks Mugman, and Shelly picks flowers. Alright. We've only lost 1 person so far. Alright, night 2. Mugman convinces Oswald to snuggle with him. Okay, dude, why? Bendy thinks about home. Mickey kills Dandy with his own weapon. That'd probably happen, being honest. Considering the type of person that Mickey is in the series, I think he would do that. Betrayal. Bugs quietly hums. Shelly repeatedly stabs Dial to death with sighs. Damn. And Boris dies trying to escape the arena. Ah, so we lost. We lost like 3 people then, I think. Here comes the feast. All right. The cornucopia is replenished with food supplies, weapons, and memoirs. Mugman decides not to go. Bendy gathers as much food into a bag as he can before fleeing. Oswald kills Shelly with her own weapon. Mickey decides not to go, and Bugs decides not to go. Okay. Day 3. Bugs receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Bendy goes hunting. Mugman thinks about home. Mickey hunts for other tributes, and Oswald explores the arena. Okay, so there's only 5 people left now. Yep. Oh no, actually, no, 4 people died since last. So we lost these 4. So only 5 people remain for round 3. Alright, Oswald receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Mickey loses sight of where he is. Bug stays awake all night, and Bendy and Mugman talk about the tributes still alive. Okay, nothing too crazy. Mugman questions his sanity. Bug stabs Bendy in the back with a trident. Okay, so Bendy's gone again. He made it into the top 5. Mickey hunts for other tributes, and so does Oswald. So we only lost Bendy. 4 people left. Oswald thinks about winning. Mugman, Mickey, and Bug sleep in shifts. Let's see. Can Mugman win again? Can he win again? Oswald receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Mickey scares Mugman off, and Bugs travels to higher ground. Okay. Now, I mean, it's funny because like Mickey died like at the start, like the first 2 rounds, and now he's just in the top 4. No cannon shots. All right. Um. Sorry about the yawning, guys. I'm a little bit tired. Bugs receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Mugman stays awake all night. Oswald receives clean water from an unknown sponsor, and Mickey accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. So there goes Mickey. We lost Mickey. Oswald receives hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Okay, and Mugman convinces Bugs to not kill him, only to kill him instead. Okay, so it's between Mugman and Oswald. All right, and these 2 died. So who's left? I wonder. And Mugman wins round 3 again because he severely slices Oswald with a sword. So your winner for round 3 is once again Mugman. Wow, pretty cool. All right, so let's see the placements this time for round 3. So so 5 people actually had a kill on on the board this time. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 people had at least 1 kill, with Oswald and Mugman having 2. Okay, nice. So Mugman has won round 1 and 3, and Boris has won round 2. All right, it's time for round 4. Who's going to win this time? Will we get another repeat, or will we get a new winner? All right, here we go. Hmm. So here we go. The horn sounds. Shelly runs away from the cornucopia. Oswald, Boris, Dandy, and Dial share everything they gathered before running. Bendy runs away. Cuphead runs away. Bug severely injures Mickey and leaves him to die. Okay, so Mickey dies immediately off the bat, and Mugman gathers as much food as he can. So Mickey dies immediately. Okay. The feast. Of course, replenished with food and everything. So Bugs and Mugman fight Dandy and Boris. Dandy and Boris survive. Oh, so we lost Mug and Bugs. All right, so we can't have a repeat with Mugman, but Boris can win round 4 possibly. Cuphead takes a staff, leaning against the cornucopia. Benny decides not to go. Shelly, Dial and Oswald start fighting, but Dial runs away as Shelly kills Oswald. Okay, so Oswald's dead. All right, day 1 already. Cuphead and Shelly split up to search for resources. Benny makes a wooden spear. Dandy shoots an arrow at Dial, but misses and kills Boris instead. Okay, so no repeats. We're gonna have a new winner for round 4. It's not gonna be a repeat. So we just lost half. We just lost half of everybody within the first day. That's crazy. All right, night 1. Bendy receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Shelly convinces Danny to snuggle with her. That'd probably happen, being so for real. And Dial and Cuphead hold hands. Okay. All right. Dial injures himself. Shelly unknowingly eats toxic berries. Okay, so we just lost Shelly. Benny makes a slingshot, and Cuphead picks flowers, and Dandy practices his archery. Okay, so we just lost Shelly. And it doesn't say that Dial is dead because he just injured himself. All right. 4 people left already. And we're already on the second night. Dandy, Dial, Bendy, and Cuphead sleep in shifts. Dandy travels to higher ground. Dial decapitates Benny with a sword. Oh, god damn. And Cuphead tries to sleep through the entire day. God damn, Dial. So he took his head off. Okay. Alright. We just lost Bendy, so there's only 3 people left. Cuphead, Dial, and Dandy. So who wins? Cuphead begs for Dial to kill him. He refuses, keeping Cuphead alive. And Dandy sees a fire but stays hidden. Okay. And then, Dial travels to higher ground. Dandy is struck by thorns while picking berries, and Cuphead can't handle the circumstances and kills himself. Okay, so Jesus, so we only have Dandy and Dial left, so it's gonna be a Dandy's World character who wins this. And Dandy overpowers Dial, killing him. So round 4 winner is Dandy. So here's the placements this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, 5 people were able to get at least 1 kill, and Dandy having the most kills being 4, and Dial, Shelly, and Bugs having a kill, and Boris having 2 kills. Okay, nice. That's round 4. So recap: Mugman won the first round. Boris won round 2. Mugman run. Mugman won the third round, and now Dandy won the fourth round. Okay, so here we go. Round number 5. Who wins? Let's see. The horn sounds. Oswald runs away. Cuphead snatches a pair of sais. Bugs, Mickey, and Dandy get into a fight. Dandy kills them both. Oh my gosh. Dial runs away. Mugman grabs a sword. Shelly runs away. Bendy runs away. And Boris finds a canteen full of water. Okay, so we already lost like 2 people already. Alright, the feast. Mugman decides not to go to the feast. Oswald gathers as much food as he can before fleeing. Danny decides not to go. Shelly decides not to go. Dial decides not to go. Cuphead and Boris get into a fight over raw meat, but Cuphead gives up and runs away. And Bendy can't handle the circumstances and kills himself. Okay, so so we've lost two people already. Alright, day one. Shelly attacks Dial, but he manages to escape. Cuphead injures himself. Oswald sees smoke rising in the distance, but decides not to investigate. Boris receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. And Dandy attacks Mugman, but he manages to escape. Okay. No, yeah, we've lost three people so far, yeah. So Bugs, Mickey, and Bendy are all gone already. So 7 people left. Oswald sleeps. Dandy tries to sing himself to sleep. Shelly attempts to start a fire, but is unsuccessful. Dial forces Mugman to kill Boris or Cuphead. He refuses to kill, so Dial kills him instead. Ah, so Mugman's dead. Alright. Boris goes hunting. Dial searches for firewood. Cuphead stalks Dandy. Oswald discovers a river, and Shelly eats toxic berries. That's how she died the last round. Alright, arena event. Monkey mutts fill the arena. So Oswald survives while running. Boris falls over and grabs Cuphead on the way down, and the mutts killed him. And then Dandy injures Dial and leaves him for the monkey mutts. Okay. So we lost 5 people. These 5 we've lost. So we have only 2. We only have we only had 2 left. Oswald begs for Danny to kill him. He obliges killing Oswald. So Dandy wins the 5th round. That's a repeat. Alright, so let's see. The only people that actually had kills here were Dial and Dandy. Dandy having 4 kills once again. Everybody else didn't have a kill besides Dial. Alright, so 5th round goes to Dandy. That's been the quickest round so far because it ended on the second night. Alright. Round number 6. Alright, here we go. The horn sounds. Boris grabs a backpack and retreats. Shelly finds a bag full of explosives. Cuphead runs away. Bugs runs away. Oswald runs away with a lighter and some rope. Bendy runs away. Mugman runs away. Val grabs a backpack, not realizing that it's empty. Mickey clutches a first aid kit and runs away, and Danny grabs a sword. Okay, so no one dies around the bloodbath. Alright. Oh, what? Hold on, okay. Alright, so Shelly picks flowers. Mugman forces Cuphead to kill Boris or Bendy. He refuses to kill, so Mugman kills him instead. You killed your own brother. You killed your own brother, Mug. Oh, come on. I mean, it's the Hunger Games, but still, dude, come on. That's your brother, man. Dial scares Miggy off. Bug searches for firewood. Dandy discovers a cave, and Oswald is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Okay. Interesting. I'm still like, come on, Mug, that's your brother, man. Alright, we only lost Cuphead. Alright, Shelly receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Dandy sets up camp for the night. Bug strangles Dial after engaging in a fist fight. Mugman and Bendy talk about the tribute still alive. Mickey goes to sleep. And Boris strangles Oswald with a rope. Alright, so we lost 2 people. Night 1. Alright, the feast. Alright, cornucopia is replenished with food and blah blah blah. Not reading that out every single time. Shelly decides not to go. Benny and Boris work together to drown bugs. Alright, so yeah, the Bee Bros actually working together. Sweet. Mickey decides not to go. Mugman decides not to go, and Dandy decides not to go. Okay. Okay. Shelly, Boris, and Dandy hunt for other tributes. Bendy shoots an arrow into Mickey's head. Deserved, because that would, in the actual web series, that would most likely happen. And Mugman constructs a shack. Okay. So I think we have only 5 people left now. Let me look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have 5 people left. Oh, hey, Mobile King. Good to see you, dude. Night 2. Mugman thinks about winning. Bendy repeatedly stabs Shelly's death with sighs. Damn. Dude, Bendy's out for fucking vengeance right now. Dandy questions sanity, and Boris receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Alright. Day 3. Mugman overhears Bendy and Boris talking in the distance. They're talking about getting Mugman. Dandy tries to spearfish with a trident. Alright, so we only lost Shelly. So we have two of the B bros are still alive. Both the B bros are still alive. Boris and Bendy. I'm rooting for Bendy here. Bendy tends to his wounds. Dandy thinks about home, and Boris destroys Mugman's supplies while he's asleep. Okay. Alright. Mugman searches for firewood. Bendy tries to spearfish with a trident, and Dandy stalks Boris. Alright, no cannon shots, because no one died. Mugman is awoken by nightmares. Dandy receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor, and Bendy begs for Boris to kill him. He refuses, keeping Bendy alive. Why is Bendy asking for his own brother to kill him? You know Bendy wouldn't do, you know Boris wouldn't do that. All right. On the 5th day, so this has been going on for this has been possibly the long this possibly been like the longer one. Okay. Or like one of the longest ones. Mugman discovers a river. Boris camouflages himself in the bushes, and Dandy and Bendy hunt for their tributes. Okay. No cannon shots again. 5th night. Mugman questions his sanity. Bendy tends to Dandy's wounds, and Boris receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Alright, day 6. Boris camouflages himself in the bushes. Bendy travels to higher ground. Mugman tries to sleep through the entire day, and Dandy injures himself. Okay, so it's been a while since someone died. No cannon shots once again. We're on night 6. Dandy quietly hums. Boris and Bendy sleep in shifts, and Mugman dies from thirst. Okay, so we just lost Mugman, so it's the 2 B bros left versus along with Dandy. So I wonder who wins. All right, we're on. This has officially been the longest round so far at a day at no at a day a week long. So all right, 7th day. Bendy tends to Boris's wounds, and Dandy is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Okay. All right. Boris climbs a tree to rest. Um, Dandy unknowingly eats toxic berries. And Bendy and Boris threaten suicide. They survive and win. Hey! 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 Okay, 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 okay. Okay. That's different. I didn't think. I didn't think. Oh my god. Alright, so your round 6 winners are the B Bros. Bendy and Boris win round 6. That's awesome to see. That both the B Bros survive. Alright, let's see. Let's see the stats here. So the only ones actually had kills were Bendy, Boris, Mugman, and Bugs. Bugs and Mug had 1 kill, while the B Bros had 2 kills and 3 kills, so 5 kills in total. Sweet to see that these guys survived together. That's awesome. All right, that's round 6. The winners of the B-Bros for round 6. All right, round 7, guys. Here we go. Round 7. Let's see who wins this time. Because so far, people who have won, Bendy and Boris have won at least one. Mugman has won 2. These guys haven't won at all. And none of these guys, no, these 2 haven't won, and Shelly hasn't won. Dandy's won twice. Boris has won twice. Bendy's won once, and Mugman has won twice. So here comes round 7. The horn sounds. Bendy snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Shelly runs away. Cuphead severely injures Dial and leaves him to die. Oswald grabs a sword. Bugs grabs a shield, leaning on the cornucopia. Mugman runs away. Mickey runs away. Boris runs away, and Dandy runs away. Okay. Alright, here comes the feast. Boris destroys Cuphead's memoirs out of spite. Oswald decides not to go. Mugman decides not to go. Mickey steals Dandy's memoirs. Bugs decides not to go. Shelly decides not to go, and Bendy can't handle the circumstances and kills himself. All right. Not Dandy. Bendy's already gone. Oh boy. First day. Oswald searches for a water source. Shelly searches for firewood. Bugs begs for Mickey to kill him. He refuses, keeping Bugs alive. Mugman fishes. Cuphead makes a wooden spear. Boris makes a slingshot. And Danny discovers a river. Okay, so we just lost 2 people. So 8 remain. Alright. Boris, Dandy, and Mickey get into a fight. Mickey kills them both. Ah. Well, not gonna have someone winning 3 in a row this round. I don't think. Unless Mugman can win. Okay. Oswald thinks about winning. Bugs convinces Shelly to snuggle with him. And Cuphead and Mugman tell stories about themselves to each other. Okay. That would happen, realistically. Alright. Day 2. Bugs severely injures Mickey, but puts him out of his misery. Ah! Oh, there goes Mickey. After killing Dandy and Boris, Bugs gives him karma. Shelly steals from Mugman while he isn't looking. Oswald hunts for their tributes, and Cuphead constructs a shack. Okay. Not too bad. Alright. 5 people remaining. Night 2. Mugman stays awake all night. Shelly severely slices Oswald with a sword. Okay, so Oswald's dead. And Bugs and Cuphead talk about the tribute still alive. Okay, so we have 4 people left. Alright, day 3. Cuphead dies of dysentery. I don't know how to pronounce that, but from what I know, this is a terrible way to go out. Hold on, let me just search up. Let me search it up. Let me search it up. Oh, yeah. Inflammatory intestinal infection. Yeah, that's a terrible way to go out. Bugs receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Okay. Um. Okay. Just putting my phone back up so I can see the chat. Shelly makes a slingshot, and Mugman receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Okay. We lost 2 people. So only 3 remain. Bugs tries to sing himself to sleep. Mugman accidentally steps on a landmine. Ah. Alright, so no one winning 3 in a row this round. And Shelly receives a hatchet from unknown sponsor. And day 4, Shelly bleeds out due to untreated injuries. So that means our winner for round 7 is Bugs. Bugs wins round 7. So here's our placements for round 7. Only 4 people came out with at least a kill. Cuphead, Shelly, and Mugs having one. No, not Mugs. Bugs having 1 kill, and Mickey having 2. All right. So our 7th round winner is Bugs. All right, I'm gonna do a few more rounds. I think we'll go up to around 10 for this stream. Okay. All right, here we go. Round 8. The horn sounds. Bugs runs away. Boris runs away. Mugman runs away. Bendy runs away. Shelly and Dandy fight for a bag. Dandy gives up and retreats. Mickey grabs a jar of fishing bait while Oswald grabs fishing gear, so they're teaming up. That's great, they're brothers. Dial finds a canteen full of water, and Cuphead grabs a sword. Alright. Let's see. Mugman silently snaps Mickey's neck. Jesus. Okay. Bugs injures himself. Dial, Cuphead, Bendy, and Boris raid Shelly's camp while she's hunting. Oswald fishes, and Dandy attempts to climb a tree but falls to his death. Okay. We've lost Mickey and Dandy. So 8 people remain for round 8. Bendy climbs a tree to rest. Bugs is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Cuphead climbs a tree to rest. Boris stays awake all night. Dial goes to sleep. Shelly kills Mugman while he's sleeping, and Oswald looks at the night sky. So Shelly got Mugman, so we have 7 people left. Here comes the feast. Dial decides not to go. Shelly decides not to go either. And Cuphead decides not to go either. Same with Boris. He decides not to go. Bendy destroys Oswald's memoirs out of spite, and Bugs falls into a pit and dies. Okay. Day 2. Cuphead receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Dial receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Oswald hunts for other tributes. Shelly chases Bendy, and Boris camouflages himself in the bushes. Okay. So we have, I believe, 7 people or 6 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so there's 6 people left. Alright. Alright, night 2. Cuphead tries to sing himself to sleep. Boris thinks about winning. Dial tries to sing himself to sleep. Bendy is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Oswald sets up camp for the night. And Shelly receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Okay. Day 3. Benny discovers a river. Dial sprains his ankle while running away from Cuphead. Oswald collects fruit from a tree. Boris attacks Shelly, but she manages to escape. Alright. Arena event. A fire spreads throughout the arena. Okay. A fireball strikes Shelly, killing her. Dial survives, Oswald survives, Bendy survives. The fire catches up to both Cuphead and Boris, killing them both. Alright. We lost 3 that time. Shelly, Cuphead, and Boris. Alright, so we have 3 left. Bendy, Dial, and Oswald. So Oswald receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Dial passes out from exhaustion. Bendy quietly hums. Oswald steals from Dial while he isn't looking, and Bendy hunts for other tributes. Yeah. What other tributes? The last 2 that are alive? We're on day 4. No cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Night 4. Dial tries to treat his infection, and Oswald and Bendy talk about the tributes that are still alive. And then Bendy ambushes Dial and kills him, and Oswald receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Okay, so it's either Bendy or Oswald. Because Dial is now dead. And Oswald repeatedly stabs Bendy to death with sighs. So the winner for round 8 is Oswald. So here's our stats for round 8, guys. So only one, two, three, four. So four people again came out with one kill each, and only one kill. No one else was able to get more than one kill in this one. So round 8 goes to Oswald. Alright, guys. Round number 9. So the people that have not won yet are Cuphead, Mickey, Shelly, and Dial. So let's see who wins round number 9. The horn sounds. Dial runs away with a lighter and some rope. Oswald grabs a shield, leaning on the cornucopia. Not Bendy, Mickey and Bugs fight for a bag. Bugs gives up and retreats. Shelly and Boris fight for a bag, and Shelly gives up and retreats. Cuphead finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. Mugman takes a handful of throwing knives. Bendy runs away, and Dandy clutches the first aid kit and runs away. Alright. Day 1. Shelly injures herself. Bugs receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Dandy camouflages himself in the bushes. Mugman, Cuphead, Boris, Oswald, and Bendy hunt for other tributes. And Dial scares Mickey off. Alright, no cannon shots. See night 1. Bendy thinks about winning. Shelly tends to Bug's wounds. Cuphead attacks Dial, but Mugman protects him, killing Cuphead. Again! Mugman, that's your brother, dude! You killed him again! Mickey kills Boris while he's sleeping, and Dandy and Oswald sleep in shifts, so we just lost Cuphead and Boris. Alright, here comes the feast. Bendy and Bugs get into a fight over raw meat, but Bugs gives up and runs away. Oswald sets an explosive off, killing Mugman, Dandy, and Dial. So Oswald just allowed Lockbard and killed 3 people. Damn. And Shelly and Mickey decide not to go to the feast. Alright. Day 2. Mickey poisons Bugs' drink. He drinks it and dies. Shelly chases Oswald and Bendy receives a hatchet. Okay, so we already have 4 people left already. And we're just going around night 2 now. We lost 6 people. 6 people within the span of the feast and day 2. Wow. Alright. Night 2. Bendy and Shelly talk about the tributes that are still alive. Mickey stays awake all night, and Oswald receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Day 3. Oswald searches for a water source. Bendy searches for a water source also. Shelly makes a wooden spear, and Mickey discovers a cave. Okay, no cannon shots, because of course no one died. Night 3. Mickey dies trying to escape the arena. Bendy questions his sanity, and so does Oswald. And Shelly goes to sleep. Okay, so we have 3 people left. Shelly begs for Bendy to kill her. He refuses, keeping Shelly alive, and Oswald hunts for other tributes. Alright, so we only lost Mickey. Okay, so it's down to 3 people. Let's see. These 2 have won, so the only one who has not won out of these 3 is Shelly. Let's see, can she win? Actually, no, I didn't read out night 4. Oswald lets Bendy into his shelter, and Shelly is woken by nightmares. Okay. Day 5. Oswald receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Shelly goes hunting, and Bendy receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Okay. Night 5. Shelly goes to sleep. Bendy climbs a tree to rest, and Oswald cries himself to sleep. You know, in the lore, that it's sad because that's true. He would most likely do that because what happened to his wife in the series. Day 6. Bendy fishes and Shelly stalks Oswald. Okay, not much happens day 6. And no one dies, of course. Okay. Night 6. Shelly receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Bendy dies of Dysentery. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry if I'm butchering that word, but I don't know how to pronounce that. Oswald receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Okay, so it was down to Bendy and Oswald. No, it was down to Shelley and Oswald. So day 7, Oswald dies from hypothermia. So round 9 winner is Shelley. Shelley finally wins one. So here are our placements for round 9, guys. Mugman, Mickey, and Oswald were the only ones that had kills. Mugman had 1, Mickey had 2, and Oswald had 3. Everyone else didn't have a kill. Alright, guys, and there's our summary for round 9. And I think it's time, guys, the final round. Round numero N. Okay, here we go. Round number 10. Let's see who wins the final round. As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Dandy runs away. Mickey finds a bag full of explosives. Dial finds a backpack full of camping equipment. Shelley takes a handful of throwing knives. Cuphead takes a spear from inside the cornucopia. Mugman, Boris, Bendy, and Oswald share everything they gather before running, and Bugs runs away. Day 1. Bugs, Dial, Dandy, and Oswald raid Shelley's camp while she's hunting. Why are they all just targeting her, man? Mickey goes hunting. Cuphead steals from Boris while he isn't looking, and Mugman and Bendy work together for the day. Alright, no fallen tributes yet. Night 1. Danny tends to his wounds. Dial and Cuphead tell stories about themselves to each other. Bendy pushes Boris off a cliff during a knife fight. That's your brother, Bendy. Oh, come on. Why? Why? That's your brother, man. Ah. And Mugman, Shelley, and Bugs cheerfully sing songs together, and Oswald defeats Mickey in a fight but spares his life. That's your brother, dude. Alright, the feast. Here we go. Replenished with everything. Dandy, Shelley, and Oswald confront each other but grab what they want slowly to avoid conflict. Mickey severely injures Bendy but puts him out of his misery. Dial decides not to go. Bugs, Cuphead, and Mugman get into a fight. Bugs kills them both, so the collector brothers are already dead. Day 2. Danny defeats Shelley in a fight but spares her life. Mickey hunts for the tributes. Oswald hears Dial and Bugs talking in the distance. Okay. So we lost 4. We lost 4 round in the second day. So there's only 6 people left now. Um, Oswald fends Mickey, Dandy, and Dial away from his fire. Bugs receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor, and Shelley sees a fire but stays hidden. Okay. Day 3. Oswald makes a slingshot. Mickey severely injures Dial and leaves him to die. Okay, so Dial's dead. Shelley scares Dandy off, and Bugs receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Okay, so we lost Dial. So 5 remain for the final round. Night 3. Oswald, Shelley, Bugs, and Dandy tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Mickey thinks about winning. Okay. Alright. Bugs receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Mickey overhears Dandy and Shelley talking in the distance, and Oswald bleeds out due to untreated injuries. Alright, so we lost Oswald, so 4 remain. Shelley attempts to start a fire, but is unsuccessful. And Bugs, Dandy, and Mickey sleep in shifts. Day 5. Dandy is pricked by thorns while picking berries. Mickey injures himself. Shelley goes hunting, and Bugs dies from hunger. Alright, so we have 3 people left. Bugs is now gone. He's starved to death. Shelley sets up camp for the night. Danny tries to treat his infection. Mickey tries to sing himself to sleep. Day 6. Shelly injures herself. Mickey collects fruit from a tree. And Danny receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Alright, no following tributes this time. Okay. Mickey attacks Dandy, but Shelly protects him, killing Mickey. Alright, so it's down to Dandy or Shelly. And day 7, Shelly and Dandy threaten suicide. They survive and win. So, Dandy's duo wins. Shelly and Dandy both win together. So, that gives Dandy the most wins out of anybody. Here is our stats for the final round. Shelly had 1 kill, Mickey had 2, Bugs had 2, and Bendy had 1. So only 4 people came out with at least 1 kill. And there's our summary. So just like the B-Bros winning a few rounds ago together, Dandy's duo wins together. And guys, very cool. I must admit, this website's very neat. I've used this in the past, like especially during like high school. Me and my buddies, we would like use like our actual names on this and see what the outcome would be. But this is very cool. If you guys want to see more Hunger Games Simulator stuff in the future, I'd love to do it. But this is just um 10 people and we've seen who went out on top. So out of everybody, Dandy had the most wins with 3.